Just good? That's all I get is good? Great. Okay, that's better. I am Kathy Silvestri. I'm president of the Gulfport Historical Society, and we want to welcome you here tonight. We're really excited about this. The Gulfport Historical Society, I think everybody knows, had a fire. It wasn't I can't say it was last year anymore. We're in 2020. We had a fire Labor Day 2018, and that is why we have such a beautiful new floor, why we got lead paint off the front half of the building. We're not going to talk about the back half, and why we have a few other new things here. So 2018 was a little bit of a challenge. We were closed from Labor Day on and through part of 2019. But when we reopened with a lot of energy, because after the fire, we were absolutely moved to tears by how supportive everybody was of us. And we appreciate that, because we, as do many small museums throughout Florida, we struggle with volunteers, we struggle with fundraising, we struggle with all those things. And there would come points in time where the board members would say to each other, is this even worth it? Do people care? Yes, they like to come to our porch party, but do they really care about the history? And what everybody showed us after the fire was that yes, you care. So thank you, first of all. I know there are a lot of faces here who supported us after the fire, and we do appreciate that. With that in mind, I will tell you that things are critical right now as far as keeping the museum open, because a lot of you gave us money, and we love money. We love money so much because it lets us do things like create new exhibits, pay for speakers, digitize our history, so if there is another fire, hurricane, or some other act of whatever, we can still access our history digitally. So money is great, but we also need you to volunteer. So if you find yourself with an extra couple of hours, Lisa C., who's right here, hi, you didn't know I was doing this. Lisa is our volunteer coordinator. So if you think you might want to give us a couple of hours a week, Lisa's the person to talk to tonight after we're done here. We would appreciate it. But our treasurer is giving me the stink eye in the back of the room, so I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that if you can't volunteer but you would like to donate money, we need that very badly too, because we have about $38,000 to go before we can digitize the rest of our collection. We had set a goal of $50,000. We raised $12,000 after the fire. We very honestly can't sustain a few more fires just to raise the rest of the money. So we're hoping to find the money in another way. But you can make monthly donations, you can make credit card donations, you can give us cash. If you have some really great shells and beads, we'll even talk about that. But we appreciate your support however you can get it. And of course, the biggest support we get is the fact that you're here tonight, because what we're doing tonight is the start of a new program. And the program is going to be called Gulfport Stories. I met with the head of Heritage Village today. Does everybody know what Heritage Village is up in Largo? It's kind of the county history repository. And I was telling them about what we're doing tonight, how Gulfport's first female mayor, Yvonne Johnson, was going to come talk to Art Levy, who is the associate editor of the Florida Trend, and we were finally going to videotape. Can we say videotape anymore? Is that a thing? We're going to record in some form or fashion of Yvonne's history, and Art is a professional. He knows the right questions to ask. And of course, afterwards, you're all welcome to ask questions too. And I was telling you we were doing this, and Monica, the director, said, you know, that's so great. And even Art said later, there's not a lot of cities doing that. They're not collecting these histories. And Yvonne is certainly, Mayor Johnson is certainly a very important person in Gulfport's history. She was a mayor, which is thankless enough. I only wish our current mayor was here to agree with how thankless of a job that was. But she was also the first female mayor, and she was not the first female mayor in 2000 or 1995. She was the first female mayor back when things were a little bit different. And I think that that takes a special kind of woman. And I'm really pleased that she chose to come to Gulfport, and I think that's really exciting. And I think it's exciting too that we're finally going to start recording these histories. Starting in February, after Mayor Johnson, we don't get Art every month. We're not lucky enough. He has a full-time job. You can come back, but it has to be free.
Okay. Well, it's free today, too.
That is true.
Yeah.
But we do have your book
I'm
for
free.
sale today.
That's true. Yeah.
We are working with an anthropology class at Eckerd College who wants to know how to do oral histories. And so we've given them some research material, and we're working with their professor, and we have identified some very important individuals. Two of them are here tonight, and we're going to reach out and have those students talk to those individuals and collect their oral histories too. And what we're going to start is this pattern of collecting Gulfport stories. And you don't have to be somebody important. Dawn Fisher, who is also one of our first elected officials, who's here tonight. We're going to be reaching out to Dawn. And I love putting people on the spot, but she was pretty great. She is still, because Dawn, I don't know if everybody realizes it, goes around and single-handedly collects trash all across the city. I knew of Dawn and had seen Dawn well before I met Dawn, because I had a house on 23rd and 58th, and Dawn would walk around every morning with her laundry cart and her bag. And long before we talked about the idea that plastics were a problem in the ocean and we needed to worry about it, and she cared enough just to pick it up. And so I think there's a great story there, but I also think Cindy, who's here, who used to work for Public Works? Parks Department, back when yes. She has some great stories. Carol Gabriel, who works at the Stetson Library, has some great stories. And these are wonderful, amazing people, and I don't want to let them pass through our doors without getting them. So we're really excited we're going to get people like Councilman Fisher and Mayor Johnson. We're glad to get their stories, but we're really excited to get Carol and Cindy's stories too. We want to get everybody's stories because that's what matters in history. It's great to hear about the elected leaders. Everybody wants to know about Abraham Lincoln, but has anybody ever thought about Abraham Lincoln's doctor? Or the woman who cleaned his bedroom when he was in the Oval Office? These are the stories we want to collect, and that's what makes our history so great. So I'm really pleased to announce the launch of this program. I'm even more pleased to be able to introduce Art Levy to all of you. I think everybody here probably knows Yvonne. She's pretty great. She showed up at a council meeting a few months ago, and we were there for a specific reason, and Mayor Johnson was there to see how it went. And when we left, I said, "Do you want to go?" She goes, "Nope, I'm going to stay." I said, "You know what? Tell him you're going to run again. It'll be fun." When we're done with the talk, of course, we'll take questions from the audience. And Art Levy has a brand new book, which are stories from all over the state, stories from people like Mayor Johnson. It's called Made in Florida. It is a wonderful book. It's a great read because each chapter is self-contained, so it doesn't totally consume you, but each little story will, because they're great stories of Floridians just like all of you. I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm going to let Art and Mayor Johnson continue. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thanks so much. I just want to say first, it's just an honor to be here in a city that cares so much about its past like this, and this many people on a Friday night is just so impressive. What I do for Florida Trend, I go around and interview prominent Floridians, and so you're right in line with that, and I'm grateful to talk to you.
Nice to be here.
And I talked to a few people about you a little bit, and I heard that you grew up near Gainesville. You were born in Gainesville. Mm-hmm. Tell me about your path from being raised in Gainesville to coming here to Gulfport.
Well, I was born in Alachua General Hospital, which they've torn down, and there were 9 boys and me, and I still like boys. And was raised in the little town of Melrose, which is 18 miles east of Gainesville. Went to Melrose High School, grades 1 through 12. Played basketball, broke my knee playing basketball, and that ended my basketball career, but didn't end me going and doing things. So after I graduated from high school, I went to work as a telephone operator in Gainesville. I was a hello girl. That was back before the automated offices. And my husband was working for Western Electric, and they were installing some new equipment in the telephone office, and that's how I met him. And we were married in 1947, July the 28th. And when he died in 99, we had been married 2 weeks less than 52 years. So I got the right man the first time. I have two children. My daughter is back here, and her husband Mac. And then I have my brother Mike and his wife Carolyn are here with us tonight.
And the grandchildren.
Four-legged grandchildren.
I actually have 2 grandsons, and I have 4 great-grandchildren. So we had an apartment in St. Petersburg when we were first married, and we decided to build our own home, and so we started looking for property. And when it rained, we went out and drove all around finding where property was dry, not, So we found the lot on the corner of 51st Street and 17th Avenue. Now, 18th Avenue was underwater, but 17th Avenue was high and dry. So we bought 4 lots, built our own home, and moved in February of 1951, and I'm still there. I'm still there.
So I had heard that one of the things you did early on was you got involved with your children's PTA, or schools with the PTA.
Oh, yes.
And tell me how that sort of got you involved with what you later became in politics here in Gulfport. Tell me about the experience of how that grew for you.
Okay. Well, I was president of the elementary school PTA. I was president of Diston Junior High PTA. I'll get back to Bogosiega. I was president of the Pinellas County Council of PTA. I was district president, which covered 5 counties, and I ended up state vice president of the PTA. By that time, they wanted me to run for president. I said, my husband is home now by himself, so no state president. When I was vice president of the district, we decided to start a school at Bogosiega, and it became a PTSA, Parent Teacher Student Association. So I helped to organize that in Bogosiega. The council, the city council, was having all kinds of problems. People would come to the meetings with placards, with balloons. It was unreal what was going on. Several of the people that I had worked with in PTA came to me and said, you need to run for council, because the man that had the District 4 was one of the main problems that was going on, and I would be the one that would run against him. So I said, I don't want to get involved in politics, Well, I opened up the parade section of the newspaper, and the centerfold, both pages, was about what was going on with all the crap that was happening in Gulfport's council meetings. And I said, that did it. The next day I went down and signed up to run for city council.
So what are some examples of what was going on back then? What was actually...
Well, I don't really know that I can tell you anything specific as far as the city was concerned, but it was just a lot of little crap. Unhappy people about something. Well, when I decided to run, they put a for sale sign in my front yard. They put a fish about this long on my front steps. I said, why didn't you make it a good fish so I could have eaten it, you know? And things like that. There was like a gabber out at the beach, you know, a little paper that was run out there. He ran an article about the city clerk, called her the pig with the wig.
Wow.
You know, I mean, that kind of stuff. We had a meet the candidates night where they get to ask questions, you know, and what have you. And they asked me, what would I do if they said something nasty about me? I said, they already have and nothing. Because when you answer them back, they just give them something else to talk about, you know. And so.
Were there things that people were, besides the personal stuff, were there issues in Gulfport that were major disagreements about? Was it growth, or what was going on back then?
Well, Town Shores was a big issue at the time that they were building Town Shores. Some people didn't want the high-rise buildings out there, you know. Some people would have preferred to keep it as a sandbar and just forget about it. When the first council meeting that I was at was a vote to build the last building. The last building at Town Shores was on the water at the very end. Well, the people that were already there that building was going to block their view. And they didn't want that building. You know, I mean, it's like, close the gate at the border, I'm already in Florida, you know. So I knew what was coming up, and I studied all the minutes where they had promised that they could build all of these buildings and they could do this and that and the other. So I had it all in front of me. And when it came to the vote, I was the tie vote. 2 voted to allow it to be built, 2 voted not to allow it to be built. And I said, you can't promise somebody something and have it in the minutes of the council meeting, voted on, approved, and then tell them they can't do it. So I voted yes. Well, the whole audience, you know, they went up in arms because they were all there against it, you know. And, well, we'll not re-elect you. You'll never get re-elected to office and blah, 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 blah. Well, 15 years later, I retired.
So this was 1985 when you became mayor. Did you become a council person first?
I became a council member in '72.
And that's when this vote happened?
And that's when this vote
And
happened.
You became mayor in 85?
And I was on council, became mayor in '85.
Okay. Okay. Now, the significance of you becoming mayor, now you were on the council for many years before that. You were the first woman to become mayor of Gulfport.
The only woman that's ever been.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask about that too. I mean, not just the first, but let me ask first about the significance of that. Mm-hmm. When that happened in 1985, was there any impact that you saw on other people, other women, girls? What was it like to be the first woman mayor of Gulfport?
Well, I can't say that I really felt any different because I'd been on council for so many years already that I was involved in everything as it was. Yeah. So the title was about the only change that I could see.
Yeah. And I want to jump back to all those years on council. What were the issues that you cared most about from the time you got elected to the time you became mayor? What were the things that you are known for that you were trying to accomplish?
Well, golly. We built the new, the new fire station. The building where, oh shoot, I don't know what they call it. to the left of the fire station, the big building, Public Works building, thank you. You'll have to forgive me, my memory's...
Built the library too, didn't they, Mom?
Built the library?
An addition, put on an addition to the library. The library was there, but put an addition on the library.
Was the senior center there? Was it even, the senior center, was it there?
Yeah, but there was an addition put on the senior center.
Hickman? No. The theater?
Oh, gosh, no.
Yeah, the theater was added, yeah. And I don't remember whether that was added while I was on council or whether that was added right after I was on council. I really don't remember about the theater.
Lighting, yeah.
Now let me ask this though. I mean, if they're writing about Gulfport in Parade magazine, which in those days was a big, everyone read Parade magazine.
Yeah.
From the time that you got elected in the year since, how did the council evolve? Did it become more professional? Did it?
Oh, yes. Yes. My platform, when I spoke to the people that came to meet the candidates, my platform was to return dignity to the city council. I said, I will not be in a meeting where they have placards and balloons and people are, you know, cussing and discussing and what have you. You don't have
I'm a
to.
big stickler on Robert's Rules of Order.
And so the first meeting that we had a policeman in the city hall standing in the back of the room. And we had a gentleman that stood up and started a bunch of crap. Don't ask me what, because I don't remember. But he was escorted out of the building by the policeman, and we never had that happen again. You know, so if I knew anything else, I helped to restore, it wasn't just me, but I helped to restore dignity to the city council.
So 85, you decide to run for mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why did you want to be mayor after all those years on council?
Why not? You know, I mean,
Was it something you decided, Mom, or did somebody approach you to do it?
No, I don't remember anybody approaching me to become mayor. I think that Mayor Clymer was going to retire, and I decided that why not? You know, I had as much experience as anybody on the city council, and I had, in all those years, I had worked with the council, with the county. I had been president of the planning council for Pinellas County, and you know, I mean, I had done a number of things with the county as well as being a member of the city council.
Educate me about the mayor's role in Gulfport. Is it drastically different than a council person? Explain the form of government so everyone understands.
Well, the council is made up of 4 councilmen and the mayor, and everybody has their own vote, and it's citywide. You live in a ward. I was in Ward 4, and still am, and so you live in that ward, and you represent that ward. The mayor represents the city as a whole. When it comes to meetings and things that come up, the mayor has a say just like any council member. The mayor has a vote just like any council member. They get involved more in outside things, like I said, getting involved in the things going on in the county, being members of the planning council for the whole county, things like that. The mayor gets involved in those type of things. But on the whole, as working with the city, the mayor has to work. He's just one of 5, and it takes all of those 5 to get something done on the city council.
And there's also a city manager? Is that?
There is a city
Okay.
manager, yes.
Okay. And that person takes direction from you
From the
guys?
city council,
Okay.
yes.
Now, when you got the title of mayor, were there certain things, you'd already restored dignity to, the process. Were there certain things that in the time that you were mayor that you wanted to get done?
Not any more so that I can remember than all the years through the council.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I wasn't out there to toot my own horn, so to speak. I did what I felt was right for the city of Gulfport.
Uh-huh.
And what else can you do? And Mayor Clymer and I, bless his heart, we worked good together when I was on the council. But Mayor Clymer had the disposition, I guess you would say, if what he wanted was against, if there was something he was against and it passed, then instead of working for it, he'd still work against it. You don't do that. You don't do that. That was the only thing that I really had against Mayor Clymer, and I don't mean to talk against him, but that was just my way of saying, you have to work together. If they voted against or for something that I didn't like, I didn't have to work for it, but I didn't work against it.
Yeah. And so he was the mayor when you were on the council?
Yes.
Okay. Were there certain things or even certain days that you could think back now, examples of things that happened to you that either make you feel frustrated that you didn't get done or you didn't handle well, or things that you went, wow, that really went well? Can you think back to anything like that?
Oh, gosh. I can't think of anything particular.
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you one thing that happened. It has nothing to do really with what you just asked me, but it's something that just came to mind. They had a celebration. I don't remember what the celebration was, but they had a dunk the mayor tank, and they had to throw the ball and hit the target to dunk the mayor, and they dunked the mayor several times. And I enjoyed that. It was part of being, so I got to dunk the mayor. It made somebody feel good that I was there and they were able to dunk the mayor. So
you went through that.
You
got dunked.
That's right.
Yeah.
I got dunked.
How were relations back then between Gulfport, let's say, and St. Pete? Well, was there much interaction? What was that like?
Well, I guess there's always been a certain amount of interaction between Gulfport and St. Pete because, we interact in different ways with water and sewage and all the things. I don't recall having any real problems with working with St. Petersburg. Mm-hmm. I do know that we were having problems with trash and stuff collecting at the end of 49th Street in the areas over there in the mangroves and what have you. And there was some uneasy questions and answers in that period of time, trying to get some of that cleaned up. But it's just, things that you just have to work together.
Whose trash was it? Somebody asked whose trash was it?
Oh, well, it was.
49th Street is the dividing line between St. Pete. One half of 49th Street, St. Petersburg, and the other half is Gulfport. So, if the trash is at the end of that road, it belongs to.
Yeah, but the problem is a good portion of that was coming from St. Petersburg, not from 49th Street into that area. And so they've worked on cleaning that up over the years.
Good. So we talked, you're the first woman mayor, not that big of a deal to you, not huge deal maybe with your contemporaries at the time, but looking back now that you're the only woman, this is like 1985, I don't know, I can't add how many years ago that was. What are your thoughts that you're still the only woman who's been mayor of Gulfport.
Well, I guess a little pride. I'm proud of Gulfport. I'm proud of the fact that I've been a part of Gulfport and having to see Gulfport develop as it has. When I moved to St. Petersburg basically ended at 16th Street and Central Avenue. I mean, basically ended at 16th Street and Central Avenue.
Where Tropicana Field is now, right? 16th, okay, I'm
No.
sorry. That's,
Yeah.
pardon me.
I mean, that just shows you how much development has happened since 1947. You know, and all the things that, when I came to Gulfport, you know, I mean, I've seen a lot of changes in Gulfport.
Yeah. How did your time in office end? Did you just step down? What happened?
Well, I had family members that were ill, and I knew that I was going to be needed. My father was ill. My stepfather was ill. I had uncle and what have you, and my dad, and I knew I was going to be needed. And I felt like it was better for me to retire and let someone run for office than it was to go on and then have to quit in the middle of the term. Sorry about that. And so that's the reason. I would have run for another term if it hadn't have been. And in 18 months, I lost 7 members of my family. So my father, my stepfather, uncle, aunt, I mean, it just went on and on. And so I made the right decision. And life goes on, whether we like it or not, you know?
Yeah. Did you ever miss being involved like that?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I liked being able to be involved and serve, and like I said, the many years I put in with PTA, and then I went from there to being council member. So I was involved in all these different things for so many years. Yes, I missed it. There were times I wish I'd never heard of it, but you know, I did miss it, and I had several people try to get me to run again later on, you know, and but by that time I had gotten involved in other things, and so felt fairly well with the way that the city was going, so I didn't get back involved again. I just sort of kept track of things on the back side.
Okay, well that brings up keeping track of things. Looking around Gulfport today, what are some things that maybe make you feel good? Some things that make you feel a little concerned? You want to talk about that?
Not on the spot or anything.
Well, I don't know that I have anything that's rattling my chain, you know. I mean, I really don't. I think the city is doing well. I can't think of any one particular thing that stands out as being something that I get out and work for.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Are you able to recognize some of the things maybe that you worked on in the 70s and 80s that have come to fruition today?
Well, we built a new pier, you know. I can't think of anything real special. Just little things here and there, and you know, just unless you have something that you can think of that don't come to my mind.
Well, like when you're driving around, do things like flash through your memory of like, oh, I helped make that intersection more safe, or I helped build that building. Do you get those kinds of moments in your life now?
sure. You know, I mean, I drive up in front of the Public Works building and there's a sign right on the front, it's got my name on it, you know. I come into the city hall, you know, and there's a sign there that said mayor. So, you know, I mean, how can you not like things like that? You know, let's be honest, we all have a little bit of self-preservation.
Yep. You talked a little bit about how the city of Gulfport has changed. What are some of the things that you look around now that you see that have changed, that are striking to you?
Well, Gulfport Elementary, for one thing, you know, the old building was torn down. My children went to Gulfport Elementary, and they've made a beautiful new building there. That was quite a change for the city of Gulfport. Mm-hmm. You know, different things like I said, the fire station, you know, the different things that have improved over the years. And, but I don't know, I know we now have a, Dunkin' Donuts? I don't know how much of an improvement that is, but, yes.
I'm curious because I've only lived here a couple of years, and we used to visit our aunt who's still here. She's lived here for over 20 years, so people keep telling me about changes. And it's funny because I did some research, I did some genealogy and such, and I wondered what happened to so-and-so from upstate New York, and found out that actually the grandchildren moved to Gulfport. I couldn't believe it. Out of all this, you know, up in the woods in New York State where I'm from, you know, that some people before me actually came to Gulfport, but no, I didn't know. They were distant cousins, you know. So people keep telling me about the downtown and how much that's changed, and how, you know, even 22 or so years ago, maybe there were like 3 restaurants or something like that downtown.
Right, right.
What was that like?
Well, it was just like any small town. I mean, there were normal homes along the road, and they've turned the majority of those into businesses of one kind or another. And, you know, I guess it's good. I don't know of anything bad about it. The buildings are still there. They still represent what was Gulfport at one time. It's just a different business in it now instead of being a private home. No.
Let me ask about the evolution of Gulfport culturally, because like I live in St. Pete. When I think of Gulfport, it's an arts place. It's got diversity. Was it that way when you were mayor? Well,
no.
What happened? What brought that here?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Uh-huh.
I do know that at one time, and I honestly don't know whether we still have it or not, we had a community of Lithuanian people, and we had a community of Russian people. Now, whether they're still, you know, I just haven't been involved to find out about that. I also know that we used to have, I think it was on 9th Avenue, but I'm not sure, a 4-leaf clover place. I don't know whether it's still there or not.
What's that?
You don't know what 4-leaf clovers are?
Well, I know what that is, but...
They raised them.
Oh, they raised them, okay.
They raised 4-leaf clovers, yeah. Yeah, no, they actually, now I don't know, and I was going to try to find out, and I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to find out. But so if you're somewhere where somebody knows something about City of Gulfport, you can ask whether, yes, do you know?
Oh, no, I don't know about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do some Q&A pretty soon. Let's say that I guess because I'm used to talking to people all over the state, and I work for a statewide magazine, so I like to ask this question in different ways, and I'll ask it about Gulfport. So if I'm in Miami, if I listen to this video in Miami, what do you want people around the state of Florida to understand and to know about Gulfport?
Well, I think that you can say Gulfport is a small, friendly community. You know, I mean, we don't have a lot of businesses, I mean, big businesses. You know, we have little businesses, but we don't have the commercial style that so many big cities do. We're a small town, basically.
Yeah.
And it has that feeling to it, you know.
This is a great facility here, and it's a great organization that they're preserving the history. What do you want people to know about the history of Gulfport that maybe new residents are moving in today? They don't know. What do you want them to know?
Well, they started out with a sailboat with a man and his wife, came up on the beach in Gulfport and said, there's nothing here, but we're going to stay. You know, if you can imagine, I can't. But that happened, get my notes. In 1867, James Barnett and his wife were the first settlers in Gulfport. There was a man by the name Philippi that came to Pinellas County. Oh, and that's another thing. At the beginning, this was all Hillsborough County, not Pinellas County. And it was Hillsborough County for many years, and then they cut it off and became Pinellas County. So, and how many of you know how many names Gulfport has had? Not many.
I read the sign.
Not many.
The sign on the porch.
Okay. In 1880, it was called Bonifacio, and that was after a man named Bonifacio. In 1889, it was Diston City. In 1906, it was Veteran City. And then in 1910, it became Gulfport. And in, I forget now, but it was after 1910 when it was made a city council manager, mayor form of government, you know. And you could buy acreage for 50 cents an acre. An acre, yeah. Can I go on?
Hey, this is about you. although I do have one question before you do.
Okay.
Does your house has it ever flooded?
No.
Good.
I have never had more than that much water on my property, and that didn't last long. And that was during a hurricane, you know.
That's why I parked my two-wheel at her house.
So we had a one-room schoolhouse on 49th Street South that had 6 poles, 3 on each side, propping it up so that it didn't blow over during the wind. And it was called Prop College because of the 6 poles. We had a streetcar. Did you know we had a streetcar? It ran down right where the park is to the casino, you know. And it started in 1905 and the last one ran in 1949. The casino that we have now is the 3rd one. The first one washed away in a storm. The second one got so dilapidated that they had to tear it down. And WPA built the one that's up there now. Stetson Law School was first built as a hotel, and it was called the Royalette. That's Taylor spelled backwards, because the man that did it, his name was Taylor. It became the Florida Military Academy from 1932 to 1951, and then after that, in 1954, it became Stetson Law School. And maybe some of you don't know that Stetson Law School is part of Stetson College in DeLand. So Gulfport Elementary and Diston Junior High were built in 1926.
Gulfport Elementary had a Spanish look to it.
Bogosiega High School was built in 1953, and teachers got $50 a month.
Wow.
How long would you have taught school? Okay. We had ferry service from the casino over to Pass-a-Grille. The trolley would run out to the ferry, and it was one of the first one of the first casinos that was there. It ran out there, and the people get off the trolley and get on a boat and go to Pass-a-Grille. So, you know, I just thought some of those things you might find interesting that you might never heard of, you know.
Do you think that Gulfport knows enough of its history? You think people need to learn more about Gulfport history?
Oh, yes, yes. As a matter of fact, I have 4 books here that are Gulfport history books. Lynn Brown wrote these 4 books. I don't think there's any of them that are still for sale, but I do think that the Historical Society has some here in a library somewhere that they could be looked at.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
okay,
Yes.
she said yes.
Yes.
If anybody'd like to take a look at these tonight, you know, they're mine and you're welcome to look through them.
And
But,
I'm sorry.
no,
For the sake of the oral history project, do you want to say, I don't know if it's proper to ask, how old you are?
I'm 91.
91.
Come May, I'll be 92.
Was there anything that you feel I should have asked you that I didn't?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Well, then let's take some questions from people.
I have a question for you. I think the writer was kind of hinting at, since you were talking about the 70s and the 80s, and I'm a child of the 50s, but I became a young woman and graduated high school in 71. So any of you who are familiar with the era of 71, what was happening? The feminist movement was pretty much at its height, other than during the time of the suffragettes. And of course, 1980, women were greatly getting into the workforce. So I think the writer was trying to find from you, was that a part of the catalyst of you getting more involved? I understand the PTA thing, because I remember when my kids started PTA, it was like, why should I be a part of the PTA? And the PTA person said, well, you're either going to be a part of it, or you're going to have to deal with the decisions. So if you want to be a decision maker, get involved. So I think, you know, I can understand you getting involved with PTA from the children's point of view, and here's your community. So that's the first question that I have. Did those eras influence here, because I'm a New Englander, did they have influence here in Florida, specifically in the Gulfport area, and did it impact you? The 70s, the women's movement, and the 80s, where more women were working outside the home.
ERA. And the early stuff, Equal Rights for Amendment.
Right.
Equal Rights Amendment started in the 70s.
I don't,
You were already involved.
yeah, I don't know that I felt any adverse or
Positive.
good or, you know, I really didn't get involved in that.
How did the men on council treat you?
Right.
How
I mean,
did-
were the men on council, did you feel like you were treated as an equal on council?
Oh, yes.
How dare they not?
Well, So, somebody said to me when I first, first council or two, you don't want to say too much, you want to listen. I said, you don't know me very well. If I've got something that needs to be said, that's why I'm there, and I'm going to say it, So, no, I felt like we all got along well.
Were there ever any other women on council with you, or when you were
Yes, yes.
there? So you were.
Judy Tonkin was on council when I was on council. Oh gosh, I reckon my mind.
You didn't have to be totally flying by yourself, the only one.
No.
Well, the other question that I wanted to ask you is about the diversity of the city of Gulfport, because it's a very inclusive and very strong LGBTQ community. Do you have a sense during your time that you were involved in government or living as you still do in this community, that was the atmosphere? Was it still very welcoming, or was there, segregation or?
Well, back when I was on city council, that was really before the LBG came out, so to speak, as much as what they do now. So I don't feel at that time that it was a problem or anything one way or the other, It wasn't out there as much as it is now. And I don't know, I haven't personally heard any problems with there being a large number of people in that venue, I don't know, I haven't had anybody run me down and complain.
I have a question about, you're describing Gulfport as a small town, and I see it as a small town, although I live in Town Shores. But I was wondering how the folks in the city of Gulfport, how they reconciled, having such large buildings on the edge of town, and what the relations were between them.
Well, of course, there were some people that didn't want the buildings there,
Yeah, the teenagers.
Well,
Lover's Lane.
that.
Screwed up our
Well, she said teenagers, and that's because that was a sand, it had the seawall, but it was just a sandy area, nothing there. And that's where the teenagers like to go and park, let's face it, yeah.
Because that really increased the size of Gulfport.
And there were some people that were not happy with Town Shores being there. I think it took a while before they realized that it wasn't going to destroy the town, and things settled down. But there were some unhappy people because of Town Shores being there.
Gulfport is known for its funky, artsy, old cottage type places. And this is just something that bugs me. You said when they were going to build Town Shores, they had to have a council meeting and people had to vote on it, right?
I'm sorry.
You said when they were going to build Town Shores, there was a council meeting and people had to vote on it.
Exactly.
But there is, I'm sure everybody in this room knows, there's a developer that's come along, and he's gonna take out those apartments that are on shore, which is okay, because they're kind of nothing historic about it, and he's gonna build a restaurant. They've denied him his first one because it's an 800-seat restaurant, and there's not 800 parking spaces in the city. But right next door to that, which he also built with, is Salty's. Salty's, Salty's is a bar. I don't know what it was when you were, was it a bar then? But the building is 95 years old. And it doesn't seem to matter to him or isn't there some way that you should preserve? because that would change the look of Gulfport. Town Shores was far enough away. I mean, that was on the outskirts. But this is our view. I mean, this is what Gulfport looks like from today. It's a quaint little fishing village, and they're going to tear down a 95-year-old building. And why doesn't council have to vote on that?
Well,
think
I have not been involved with this, so I don't know any of the, I've not heard any of the ins or outs of what's going on with that,
He wants
so.
to tear all of the apartments and Salties down and put kind of like a South Beach looking restaurant. And he was shut down only because it was 800 seats. And 800 seats means 800 cars, or just say
Yeah, I know.
400 cars. There's not room. But not to preserve Salties. I mean, make it into a really cool fishing hut or something. You could make a cool restaurant. Huh? I'm actually going to do, and I'm not a history person, I'm just a volunteer coordinator, but I'm actually going to try to do a research about Salties, write it all up, ask people to sign a petition to save that building, and I'm going to go to the builder and say, look, you know, if you want to be welcome, I mean, Caddy's, people were up in arms when Caddy's built, nobody wanted to go, but Caddy's really tried to melt into the community, you know.
No, I'm sorry, I don't have any,
You're out of that. But you never, when you were mayor, did you ever talk about like old buildings being torn down to put new ones up?
I don't think we were having that problem. I really don't, you know,
Because the mayor changed the whole look of Gulfport to make everything modern. You know, it would be Gulfport.
yeah, right.
Thanks up for mayor.
You were talking about the new fire department during your time. So since the 70s, obviously our fire department has grown, our police department has grown. What evolved from your first time as council members in the 70s to the 80s? How have those two departments changed? Were they volunteer fire departments?
Oh,
et cetera?
yes, my husband was a volunteer fire department, he was a lieutenant, he was on the fire department 25 years.
Wow.
And I was a member of the auxiliary. There was three of us, I think, that, you know, but we went to the fires and took Gatorade and water and coffee and what have you. So I know all about the fires, you know, and the fire department.
When did it become a paid position then?
Oh, I don't know exactly, but it's been a number of years.
While you were intern?
No.
I see.
No. My husband retired in 80, and it was still a volunteer fire department at that time.
And then the police department? Oh, has it changed?
Well, I think the police department is pretty much the same as what it was. I mean, it's always been a paid department. It's never been, to my knowledge, a volunteer department of any kind. I don't recall hearing any major changes. There was somebody over here that had their hand up.
What did you and your husband pay for your lots in, was it 51, 1951?
What did I pay for?
The lots.
Oh, Lord. I have no idea. I have no idea whatsoever. If I'd have thought somebody,
I remember Dad used to say that when they bought their property, he could have bought where Honeywell sat for $5 an acre, but he wouldn't do it when they couldn't afford to start the house here. And boy, did he wish he had.
yes.
Mayor Johnson, what did you do after you left as mayor and then you took care of family members, but you just don't seem like the kind of person that couldn't get their lives and stuff. So what did you have hobbies? What have you done in recent years?
Well, I got involved in genealogy, and I traced my mother's people back to 1066, when my about the 30th great-grandfather went from Normandy into England with William the Conqueror. I mean, that I have written proof of.
Did you do it online, or did you do this through books?
Oh, I spent hours at the library at the Mormon library out on the north side of town.
Yep.
And Largo Library. I spent 2 days in Salt Lake City in the Mormon library out there, and you know, just anywhere and everywhere. And I just got involved up to here in the genealogy, and really, and yet I could go that far back with one, and I can't get, and never have gotten, my father's grandfather out of New York.
Well, and you also, when Daddy retired, 2 weeks after Daddy retired, they hooked up their avion and headed for Alaska. They've been within
I've been in every state in the United States.
So they spend a lot of their time doing that.
Yes.
What would you say, we're in election season now, I don't know if anybody's noticed, there's some signs that, what would you say to somebody now who was running for city council would be, what would be the most important advice you could give to somebody who wanted to sit on city council? What would you say is the most important thing to remember?
I think the most important thing you can remember is that Gulfport belongs to the people, you know, and you need to work for the people, not for you.
Thank you.
Mayor Johnson, were you here when the Peninsula Hotel was built? Or
No.
was it already here?
No, it was already here.
Okay. I don't remember the year.
It's been different things,
Yes.
you know, but
I remember, well, I don't remember, but I remember hearing when it was a VA
Yeah.
hospital.
yeah,
You know?
but
So that 3-story thing has always been here.
yes, as far as I can remember.
Okay. That's a lot further than a lot of us.
Oh goodness, you know.
I've got one more.
Okay.
Did you ever find out who threw the fish on your yard?
No, I never did find out. I had an inkling, but I never knew for
And
sure.
what kind of fish was it?
I don't remember.
But it wasn't.
It
wasn't.
not edible.
It was a
not good
big
fish.
fish. It was a big fish. Yes.
Yvonne, do you remember when Vaughn's had the drugstore on the corner?
Mm-hmm.
Of each floor?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there's been so many things over the years that have gone on and that I have been involved in or had a part of or knew of. And yet, you know, I mean, like I said, I'm 91 years old, so I don't remember everything, you know. It's hard to remember everything. Sometimes somebody will say something and it reminds you of something, you know, and then you can go back and bring that out again, you know.
What are you proudest of?
I beg your pardon?
What are you proudest of in your whole life?
My family. My family. So.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thank you.